in the history of public education that we need people like Collin. This is the time. It really is. It's under duress, it's being pushed by all sides, it's being, undercut by a lot of the people from one party and vultures and all these other things that are really, really hurting public education. We need leadership. We need people like Collin that really understands education, loves kids, is there for the right reason, and is willing to go out on a limb and do the right job. So all I can say is, it's just a real privilege to be both a friend and a supporter of Collin. And Collin and Mark are obviously great people, just all around. And anything you can do to help the campaign, and that means your wallet, we really appreciate it. We really would. Whatever you can give, we appreciate it. But it's expensive to run a campaign. He's run a very aggressive campaign, a good campaign. And, I'm going to turn it over to Collin, and you can ask him questions. He's got things to say. He's a fantastic guy, and I'm just so, again, proud to be part of the program. Thank you, Collin.
Hi, everyone. I am Collin Beachy, and the reason why I am here for you guys today is that I am a passionate supporter and believer in public education and the people who can run a public school. And over the last few years, as Jim has said, it's been tough. And there has been a lot of pressure. There's been a lot of pressure from outside groups coming on to try and privatize our schools, try and disrupt some things, whatever it may be, whatever their purposes are. And so it's time that we have a school board that is sort of recognizing that we need to start making sure that we are working with some of my coworkers over here. And so I want to make sure that we are remembering that we are treating our staff, our students, our families, and by extension our communities, no longer as inventory on a spreadsheet, but investments into our future. And that's what we're trying to do here. Most of us know last March we had to go on strike for 3 weeks. I'm not going to go and relitigate any of that. But part of that is what got me into this race. Now, I just want to do, before I was running for the school board, there would be a lot of times I would say things like, why isn't the school board doing this? And why isn't the school board doing that? As I've been running, I've started to understand what the school board can actually do. And so as a teacher, just real quickly, I kind of want to let you know a little bit about what it is that the school board can actually do and how my values are going to fit into what the job responsibilities are that I'm going to be doing. The first thing, in no particular order, but one of the first things is we have to set policy. Now, I don't want to get into the weeds on policy with anybody here today because I'm a teacher too. I can talk to you guys forever about policy, things like that that's going on. I just need you to know that what's going to inform my decisions and the policy-making decisions that I'm going to be doing are my values. And so what are my values? I am fully union endorsed. I come from a family of teachers. Being a teacher is just who I am. Never wanted to do anything else. And so whenever policies that we're going to do, I'm going to make sure that they are going to be working for the people on the ground who are actually having to provide the education, who are the ones driving our public schools, the beating heart of our public schools. I want to make sure that whatever policy that we're putting in place, we've given us, the teachers, the tools and the resources that they need to do that. Otherwise, we're making them have to try and figure it out all on their own. Second thing that we have to do, we have to set a long-term vision. Part of my long-term vision is to go back to a community schools model, the true community schools model. Not just where you live, not just about your neighborhood, but it's about utilizing the community resources that we have throughout this beautiful, great city, bringing them into our schools so that we can enhance our students' education and give them more opportunities from people who are right here, who believe in our public schools and believe in our city. Number 3, there's some oversight of the administration as part of our role that we have to have. I think that a lot of people would say that that is something that we need to have a lot more of. We have kind of a corporate mentality right now, and I don't believe that's how you run a public schools. Because if you run a public schools with that mentality, as a corporate mentality, what is your commodity? It's people. And I don't work with people that way. So I want to make sure that we are giving them all the tools that they need to do. Now, one of the first things that's going to happen here, if I'm elected and I'm serving on this board,
When, Colin, when?
One of the first things that I'm going to have to do is going to be, at the end of a 4-year term, the most important decision that I'm going to have to make is going to happen within the first 6 months of being in office. And that is we have to hire a new superintendent. So I'm going to be looking for someone who's going to share similar values with me. I want to make sure that there's someone that understands that I don't necessarily need to hear what your agenda is. I need you to understand that your job is to implement the agenda that we have created. All of us, the teachers, the parents, and the administration together. No more directives. We need to stop some of these. Right now with the comprehensive district design, we've shifted some of our boundaries. It's put some new responsibilities on us. I'd like to see us to just stop for 2 years. No new initiatives. Let us get caught up. Let us get our breath. And let us get up to speed on all of these new things that are still coming down the pipeline here. The full effects of the CDD have not taken place yet. There are still more changes to come. Give us this opportunity to be able to do that. And so I need to be able to work with someone who is, I'd like to see if someone was an educator. That's certainly not going to be a non-starter for me, but I'd like to know someone who's had some sort of experience in the classroom. I need to know someone who has some experience and has some success working in an urban school district. One that is very similar to ours and they understand what our values are. And one other thing, I also want to find a superintendent who not only believes in Minneapolis public schools, but believes in Minneapolis. And someone who will be a member of our community, and invest in our community, and get out there and be part of the people. The last thing that the board can do is also one of the most important things that we can do, and that's establishing relationships with each other. And I'm already in the process of doing that. Interpersonal skills is, a lot of you who know me, I don't know what things, all right? So I mean, I've already talked with 2 current board members. I'm running with a former board member. I'm working with a former board member. And so if elected, I am going to be making sure one of the things I'm going to do is reach out to the other 2 board members who will be remaining, that I have not spoken to yet. And just to make sure that we are establishing a good relationship with each other, because over the last, particularly 2 years, I'm just kind of tired of the fighting. That's not who I am. I believe that together we can all sit down and work this thing out. After Los Angeles had their strike, I would like to see us do the same thing. Their administration, their union, their school board members, they all sat down, put a framework in place so that this never happens again. And start having that communication with each other. So I just believe that I grew up in a small town, and anybody else who grew up in a small town, the schools can be the beating heart of your community. That can happen in a city this large. We can still do this. And so I just believe that my past experience, my past work experience, my own life experiences, and the time that we're in right now, I just feel like I'm an excellent candidate for this. And so I appreciate your support. So I appreciate all your support. More importantly, I hope I can get your vote. And I thank you all for coming. Listen, I could talk forever, so that's why I have these to cut me off. But I just thank you all, and just I'm here for any questions that you have. If you are parents or no parents in the district and they want to hear from me, I'm willing to go and speak with people at meet and greets, at their houses, over the phone, whatever it might be. I want to show you that I'm not just going to say that I'm going to be responsive to people. I'm going to do that. That's what we do as a teacher. I can't do my job as a teacher if I'm not talking to my parents. I will not do my job on the school board if I am not talking to my parents.
Say, Colin, can I interrupt one more thing? We can use your money, that's important, but as important, we all know 10 people. Yeah. If you can go out and tell those 10 people that Collin is a fantastic person, a great pedagogue, he's going to be a great school board member, and that will go a long ways. And then they might go tell another 10, and before you know it, we got a lot of votes. That's all we need, is votes. That's what gets us in.
Yeah.
So make sure you speak loud and clear about how Collin's gonna be a great school board member. Because a lot of people on the street don't follow this that closely. And they wanna hear it. And they say, oh, I never really thought about that. You know him. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's gonna do a wonderful job. And he believes in education. So don't forget to tell your friends, other family members, anybody about Collin. And we only got about what? How many weeks left? 5 weeks. 5 weeks, so we gotta get it out there.
Yeah.
So that's really important.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and so I'm not as articulate as Jim, but
Oh, you're much more than I
I just appreciate you all giving me an opportunity to share some of my views with you and some of the just real basic ways how I'm going to approach my job if I'm to be elected to the school board. So just thank you all for your time, and I am going to stop because I will go off on another tangent.
And so before we kick it back to everybody just socializing and having discussions with Collin, Bob Walters, who he mentioned, previous board member and huge supporter of Collin, I want him to say a couple words and I'm going to say a couple more and then back at it.
So some of you have met me before. My name is Bob Walzer, and I served one term on the Minneapolis Board of Education. When the teachers' strike erupted this year, I was drawn back into it because after I left the board, I said, never again. Working on the Minneapolis Board of Education is one of the most difficult things I ever attempted to do in my life. And when I was standing in this very place, not in this room, but doing a meet and greet like this 6 years ago, I thought I knew what it took to do the job, and I was wrong. I learned a lot over the time that I served on the board, and so that's why I am so excited that Collin is running, because he knows a lot of the things that I didn't know when I joined the board. He has the skills that I didn't have, and he is prepared and connected to people in ways that will enable him to be a far more effective board member than I ever was. So I am really behind Collin and cannot, as you're talking to your friends and neighbors, this is an extraordinarily powerful candidate. Please let them know. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, and then one last little statement. So, okay, as Jim mentioned, it takes money to run campaigns. You might think school board campaigns, like they're little, how much money does it take? Well, Collin's running at large, so as opposed to some of the people running in the district campaigns, he's got to cover the whole city, right? So that takes a fair amount of money. And not that long ago, we were told, so DFL endorsed, great, yay! We get on the DFL sample ballot that they're going to mail out, so everybody will see his name. We were told $2,500, we need to pay the DFL to send that out, right? So that's a lot of money for a little campaign. And the other reason why this is so important is because, as we've all been hearing, Collin truly believes in public schools. There's, a movement. This is where the other side gets to slip in their crazy candidates, because, not to be all scare tactics, but this is where they slip in their crazy candidates because nobody's paying attention to the school board race. And this is how those people get to springboard forward into higher positions. So this is why we want somebody who believes in public schools, who is a candidate that you can trust because you hear him, you know him, and you can believe in him. And I think most of us in this room believe in him, that have known him for a while, and some of you who are just meeting him, I hope that you will too. And so it's, I guess, crucial, one, yes, that you tell people to vote for Collin, that you believe in him, and two, help advertise through either taking a yard sign. If you live in Minneapolis, we've got yard signs here and little stands to put them on. Three, that you maybe pass some of these out as you're talking with people, some of the little flyers, and four, donate. And there's a little QR code here that will take you to a donate site that you can donate through ActBlue, or you can give cash or check. I mean, check would be better than cash, but just for being able to track it. Yeah. So anyway, that is, I guess, what I wanted to say is that, and thank you all for coming. This is great. and I've been very happy to talk with someone.
And don't forget to post
I
it.
want to thank, and
Don't
also,
forget to post it on your Facebook.
Yes.
Take
Oh,
a
yes.
picture of that and get it out on your Facebook.
and I want to thank Nico and the staff and Jim for hosting this tonight.
Hey, Collin.
Yes.
Yeah.
The voter registration drive at school starts next week.
Okay.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Early,
Yeah, early voting has started, and there's registration drives starting at some of the schools here, so.
yeah, early voting, yeah, so if you don't have a plan to vote yet, you know, make one or let us know.
Thank you. All right, please do. Thank you.
All
All
right.
right, thank you, everybody.
Great job. I'm gonna take one of these, I'm gonna take a picture of this and I'm gonna get it up on the.